Well, thank you very much, everyone. Let's make a start. It's 6 p.m. on Tuesday, the 28th of October, 2025, and I declare the meeting open. We acknowledge the Whadjuk people, the traditional custodians of the land, and we also pay our respects to both elders, both past and present. Can I ask everybody here this evening to make sure your mobile phones are turned off or at least on silent for the duration of the meeting? And to remind you all that this meeting is being live streamed via the City's YouTube channel. Council meetings are public meetings and any information you provide shall be recorded and may be publicly accessible. The council chambers are not a parliament and therefore parliamentary privilege does not apply. Elected members and staff risk being held personally liable if their comments are found to be defamatory or to breach any duty of confidentiality. Statements made during council meetings are solely for those made by the person making them. Nothing expressed at a council meeting can be attributed to the city unless it is adopted by a resolution of this council. Elected members and employees must disclose any financial proximity or partiality interest that they may have in an item on the agenda and declare the interest at the commencement of the meeting or at the very latest when the item is about to be discussed. And financial proximity and impartiality interests are to be disclosed in accordance with the Act. Elected members disclosing a financial or proximity interest must not participate in that part of a briefing relating to their interest and must leave the meeting for the duration of the item. The confirmed minutes of a council meeting are the official record of that council meeting. As required under the Local Government Act, the City publishes a video recording of the meeting. Recordings must not be copied, republished or reproduced without the City's express permission. At item 2, attendance, we do have apologies this evening. Councillor Ross and Councillor Jacobs are unable to attend tonight's meeting. An apology has been registered. Approved leave of absence at item 2.2, there are none. Disclosures of interest, CEO, we have received a number. Can I get you to read those to the meeting, please?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. In relation to item 3.1, declarations of financial interest, I've received none for tonight's meeting. In relation to item 3.2, declarations of impartiality, I have received a number. The first from Councillor Kunze in relation to CO 007 of 25. It is in relation to Ferndale Park sports lighting upgrade. The nature of Councillor Kunze's association is he is a life member of the Linwood Ferndale Football Club, a stakeholder in this process, is a leaseholder and user of the reserve and its facilities. The lights will benefit the club. I've received a further declaration of impartiality from Councillor Sekhon in relation to IE 022 of 25, proposed parking controls for various locations. Councillor Sekhon's interest is she has a child that plays basketball at Willetton Basketball Stadium. I've received a further one from Councillor Paul Tucek in relation to IE 022 of 25, proposed parking controls for various locations. The nature of Councillor Tucek's interest is he works at Willetton Basketball Stadium. I've received a further declaration from Councillor Ross for the same item. Councillor Ross's declaration, nature of her association is she has a child that attends Linwood Senior High School and is on the P&C committee. I've received again a further declaration from Councillor Rodriguez in relation to the same item. Councillor Rodriguez has a child that plays at Willetton Basketball Stadium. And the final declaration in relation to this item is from Councillor Hurn. So again, this is the proposed parking controls for various locations. Councillor Hurn's interest is she has a family. She has family that lives near the proposed locations. I've received a further declaration of interest from Councillor Hurn in relation to OC 014 of 25. It is the Lease, Renewal, Queen's Park Soccer and Social Club. The nature of Councillor Hurn's association is she has a child that plays with the club.
Thank you, CEO. Thank you, councillors. We move on to item 4, announcements by the presiding member. There are none. Reports of delegates without discussion at item 5. Does any council member wish to table a delegates report this evening? I don't believe there are any. None. Thank you very much. We shall move on. Question time for the public. Responses to questions taken on notice. There are none at item 6. At item 6.2, question time for the public. The time set aside for public questions is 15 minutes, which may be extended if necessary. For recording purposes, I'll ask those asking questions in a moment to please step forward to the lectern, state your name and address, and then proceed to ask your question. If an answer cannot be provided at tonight's meeting, the question will be taken on notice and an answer will be provided at the next ordinary council meeting. In accordance with policy AD02, members of the public who have registered their questions with the City's administration shall be called upon in the order in which registrations were received. Written questions will precede a verbal question. The City has received one question tonight from Mrs. Karin Kralupper from Queen's Park in Western Australia. Thank you, Karin. Would you like to step forward, please, and ask your question?
Good. Is it on? Is it on?
It's on. The microphone's on.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and ladies and gentlemen of the council. My name is Karin Kralupper, Karin, with an I. I'm not a Karin. and I have been living in Queen's Park for the last 45 years. So I've been here for almost ever. And originally I come from Austria. I do have a few questions, but I want to make a couple of comments before, if I'm allowed to. And seeing that I've been living in a resident of Queen's Park for such a long time, I have seen lots of stuff what the council has done, what the City of Canning has done and the council. And I do want to thank everyone here and every one of your predecessors for doing a great job. I don't think people thank you often enough. Most of the time they're complaining and bringing up suggestions, but I don't know how often you really get a big thank you. And I think what you're doing in looking after us, even though it doesn't always happen straight away, but in general, we are really, really grateful. And I also am appreciating that you offer free services like skip bins and what else you offer? You offer lots of things, and knowing I'm from Austria and you would never get anything free over there, honestly. I know that. I mean, you might get that service, but you have to pay for everything. So getting something free from the council or from wherever you live, it doesn't really happen. So and especially I want to highlight what one of the things which I really, we all in our area appreciate, the upgrade and the transformation of Manana Park. You have done such a great job. I don't know whether you all have seen it. You should go and have a look at it. It is absolutely fantastic because it was just a big green empty space, and you have done a hell of a lot. And the event we had there was also absolutely great. So really a big thank you to all of you. And I also want to thank Mr. Mayor and his council and the staff for doing, it's for me having helped me so much, and everybody I came in contact with treated me with a lot of respect and a lot of courteous, being very courteous and helpful, and for something what I have bungled up. So really thank you for helping me, whoever helped me, but I want to thank everyone, including the staff who is not here. So please, if you can pass it on or whatever, I would really appreciate it. Okay, and thank you also, what you also have, and what I just recently needed, is an after-hour service. On a Friday night, when I came back from this function, from this event in Manana Park on the Friday night, I saw that some idiot has just uplifted one of the lids, one of the covers of the drain, and was standing up, and it was getting dark, and there was a big manhole there, and I thought, how stupid can it be? And I rang the council, and within an hour, it was all fixed. So I'm really grateful that it exists, because I don't know whether all the other councils have the same supply the same services. Anyway, I again want to thank everybody. I'm really grateful, and not only I am. I think all my neighborhood, they're really grateful for what we've been doing. And I have got lots of other things I've written down here, but I can't read it anymore. So
that's all right.
Is it probably okay? And Mr. Mayor, the questions I have for you. Are you pleased with your new council? And I believe you have got an equal gender number, which is great. I always think you can never have enough women on the board. And and how are you? Are you happy with working? You're working well with them. And also, what I'd like to know: are there different councillors responsible for certain suburbs and certain fields or both? And when you have to make a big decision, which probably involves spending a lot of money, are all the councillors taking an active part in it? So these are my 3 questions. You can probably just answer them in one go.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Look, I'll start by saying I'd really appreciate it if you come back every month, if you don't mind. That was wonderful. Thanks very much. You're absolutely right. Council doesn't often hear that sort of praise, and I know that the silent majority are very supportive of the work that we're doing and the investment that this council is unlocking. You're right about Maniata Park. That project has really brought the whole community together, and I don't mean just Queen's Park, but people are travelling from all over the city of Canning to share in an investment that has come from their own taxes through the federal government and also through their local rates. So we're immensely proud of that project, as we are with got a similar sized almost playground at Shelley Beach Park in Shelley, and there's another one going up in Kent Street shortly at the Kent Street Weir, and we're equally proud of that. Just in relation to the questions you asked about the council, I'm immensely pleased with the council that we have. It's rare that you have such a wonderful balance of a diverse balance on the council. We have 5 men, 5 women, and a mayor. But it's been wonderful, and I think pleasing for me is to see the transformation of this council to such a young council. A lot of people here that still have young children and are working, but despite the challenges of balancing work and also council and their family life, they are doing so successfully and choosing to serve their local community. So I'm incredibly pleased with the work we're doing. Yes, we do have the City of Canning is divided into 5 wards, and each of those wards has 2 councillors, and those 2 councillors are not responsible for those areas, but they are advocates for those areas. So when a matter comes to council from, for instance, your area, Queen's Park, the 2 councillors there would be working probably more closely with the community to bring the consultation for the community to council, to appraise us about how the local community feels about certain projects, and then we deal with that as a collective here as a council. But yeah, I'm immensely pleased with the way council has been. We have picked up a number of extraordinarily good councillors. A number of councillors have been returned to council for a second term, which I'm really pleased with. And we've also picked up 2 new councillors who are going to be, I know, extraordinarily good for this community, both community-minded people. And we have a former councillor, Jesse Jacobs, has come back onto the council. I'm certain that Jesse will be a solid contributor to the council. I've already met with him, and I look forward to working with him over the next 4 years or so. So we're doing really well, and I feel that myself, and I'm really pleased to hear that the community is recognising that this council has come a long way from the council it was dismissed in 2012-13 and under commissioners. We have grand standing in the southeast corridor of Perth, and our reputation, I feel, in many ways has been restored, and we are looked upon by other councils with a great deal of envy is not the word I'm looking for, but I think people look up to us and recognise that we are a big council that is actually making inroads and acting like a functional council should. So thank you for coming along this evening. I very much appreciate it. Nice seeing you again. Thank you. Mr. Beacroft, I'd like to invite you to come forward to the lectern and ask your question. Thank you.
George Beacroft, 9 Civic Gardens, Cannington. Mr. Mayor, I refer to the parking controls in Civic Gardens and what's the other one? The other road at the bottom. The main name's gone out of it. I'm not quite sure whether you can handle this, Mr. Mayor, but
I will
I've come
do
a
my
lot.
best.
I've come along to congratulate your officers and staff tonight. That's 2 congratulations in one night.
I don't know what's going on here.
I would like to congratulate the, firstly, we would like to congratulate the officers and staff for their very comprehensive resolvement for the Civic Gardens, Carden Drive parking arrangements. This will comprehensively resolve a big problem that we had before, and we had an event on the stage this Saturday, and a private parking firm was there, and with your officers, and it was an example of how it should be done. Just one point I did raise with the officers over this parking arrangement. If you happen to have the map in front of you, I don't know, but at the western end of Civic Gardens, the cul-de-sac end, on the southern side, the parking there, if it's allowed as designated, the parking there will stop big trucks doing a clean turn. There is a bit of a building going on in the street, a large building, and of course it affects the council service trucks. I brought it up with the officer, and he said that it means, as it is at the moment, it means that all big trucks will have to do a 3-point turn. Well, I'm quite happy with that. I haven't got a big truck. If the council wants to consider that, then I'll throw the ball into their court. But once again, thank you very much for the comprehensive resolvement of what was a very big problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beacroft. And for those of you who don't know, Mr. Beacroft is a former elected member and years ago sat in the same seats that we're in a different building, but was an elected member, and really pleased to hear you come along tonight, and also to praise the council for that piece of work. You should know that many of the councillors sitting around the room today had an extraordinary amount of input into the work that has been done. And the wonderful thing, George, with the council at the moment is there's real trust and collaboration between the administration and also the councillors, and so we're seeing really good outcomes for the community from that close collaboration between the two. And whilst the administration is certainly producing the reports and the recommendations to council, I think that they would also agree that the input of the councillors has been very important in moulding where we've got to at the end. And I know you have a specific interest in the item and have brought up issues around parking around the Civic Gardens a number of times. And so I guess that the matter before us tonight proves that we do listen and that a good outcome will be reached, I'm sure, this evening on the basis of some of the feedback we received, particularly your own. So thank you once again.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One thing I find disappointing, Mr. Mayor, I was on the council 20 years ago, and I'd say that, well, I think I would be the only one that seems to have taken an interest in the council after the time that they stopped being councillors. And I find that a little bit disappointing, because there was so much experience on the council that I was on, and it's a shame to see them disappearing into the woodwork and not putting in any effort into the future council.
I think we've probably lost a few along the way too, George, haven't we? But I guess people get a little bit older, and perhaps for that reason they've decided to move on to other things, or maybe they're not as fortunate as you living in the city of Canning. They've moved into other areas and well away from the city of Canning. But you're right, we've lost a lot of corporate knowledge, and it's always wonderful to have a fresh pair of eyes on the matters that come before the council. I know you don't come regularly, but you come regularly enough when something of interest pops up. We're always appreciative of your feedback, so thank you.
And you.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillors, we're going to move on to an important item, and that is the election of the Deputy Mayor. The item will be dealt with by our Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Michael Littleton. And Mr. Littleton, I will hand over the meeting to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So tonight I'll be conducting the election for Deputy Mayor. Nominations are to be submitted in writing on the form provided and given to me. If a councillor is nominated by another council member, the nomination is not to be accepted unless the nominee has advised the CEO verbally or in writing that they are willing to be nominated for the office. To date, I have only received a nomination from Councillor Mark Bain. So I'll now call for any further nominations for Deputy Mayor. As I've received no further nominations, I'll now close the nominations for the position of Deputy Mayor. And I'll also duly declare that Councillor Mark Bain has been elected unopposed to the office of Deputy Mayor until the 16th of October 2027. So congratulations to Councillor Mark Bain, or now Deputy Mayor Mark Bain.
Congratulations, Mark. Round of applause.
I'll now call on Deputy Mayor Mark Bain to make his declaration of office before Mayor Patrick Hall. Do you just into the microphone?
Oh, into the microphone. Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I am Mark Bain of Linwood, Western Australia. Having been elected to the office of Deputy Mayor of the City of Canning, declare that I take the office upon myself and will duly, faithfully, honestly and with integrity fulfil the duties of the office for the people in the district according to the best of my judgment and ability, and will observe the Code of Conduct adopted by the City of Canning under Section 5.104 of the Local Government Act 1995.
Thank you, and I'll just invite you to sign here. Done.
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Congratulations. We'll just have a quick photo taken. Mark, if you want to hold that up. Fabulous. Congratulations, mate. Well done.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, directors.
I'll hand the meeting back to Mayor Hall.
Normal transmission.
Well, as much as I felt the control and the power there for a minute, but
Yeah.
it's obviously beyond my
Don't get used to it. Thank you. We'll move on to item 7 before the CEO gets carried away. Item 7 will be the confirmation of minutes for the ordinary council meeting held back on the 16th of September 2025. The officer's recommendation is on screen, and the recommendation also appears in page 3 of tonight's agenda. Can I have a mover, please, for the item? Councillor Page, was that you? Councillor Page, thank you. Seconder? Councillor Rodriguez, thank you. Councillors will put that item to the vote.
The motion for the confirmation of the September OCM minutes has been carried unanimously with all 9 in favour.
Thank you, Government. As we move on to item 8, at 8.1, receiving of petitions, presentations and deputations. We do have a petition. It's PET 006 of 25. The title being Petition, Residents of Mosaic Street in Shelley, Parking Restrictions in Cul-de-sac. The recommendation before you is that the petition be received and referred to the Office of the CEO for action. The petition has been received from Mr. Brendon, Hewson, and appears on page 4 of the agenda and also on screen. Can I have a mover, please, for the item? Councillor Kunze, thank you. Councillor Page is the seconder. Councillors, we might just put this straight to the vote. Thank you.
The motion for the petition has been carried unanimously with all 9 voting in favour.
Thank you. At item 8.2 presentations, there are none. At item 8.3 deputations, we do have a deputation that's been approved for Mr. Brendon Hewson of Shelley regarding report IE 022 of 25, proposed parking controls for various locations, I think specifically Mosaic Street and Shelley. Mr. Hewson, please step forward, introduce yourself to council and make your deputation. You have up to 10 minutes. Thank you.
Thanks
Welcome.
very much, Mr Mayor. And may I say at the start, my name is Brendon Hewson from Shelley, 16 Mosaic Street. I'm a 50-year ratepayer of the City of Canning. Very proud.
Well, you must have moved in when you were about 6.
I was in nappy, sir.
Now, just in keeping with the other speakers tonight, if you could say something glowing about the council, I'd very much appreciate it.
I understood that, Mr Mayor, and that's precisely why I said it.
Thank you.
Thanks once again, Mr Mayor and councillors, for the opportunity to address the elected members of council tonight. On behalf of the signatories of the petition submitted to Council on Thursday the 16th of October 2005, I intend to speak as a proponent of the proposed plan P3051, parking restrictions to Mosaic Street West for primarily safety reasons. I will present the more important personal aspects directly concerning my residence at number 16 Mosaic Street West and the difficulties endured over an extended period of time to safely enter a public thoroughfare from my own driveway. This will include a short 18-second video clip for illustrative purposes. Afterwards, with your indulgence, Mr Mayor, I'm quite willing to answer queries or offer points of clarification if required by Council.
Thank you.
My wife and I have been residents of Mosaic Street for 50 years. I was a resident of Mosaic Street in March 1976 when the City of Canning implemented the cul-de-sac as part of a traffic calming measure to address increased risk between vehicle and pedestrian traffic. I supported the move to install about a 20-metre easement separating the two ends of Mosaic Street, even though it affected the frontage and crossover between my property and the road. At the time, there were two crossovers that entered the newly constructed cul-de-sac on the western side of the easement. Around 1998, the zoning changed for Mosaic Street West and two more crossovers were constructed to directly enter the cul-de-sac on the southern side. In 2017, the City of Canning installed no parking signage to the Mosaic Street East cul-de-sac in response to overflow parking problems created by parked vehicles not facilitating accessibility and mobility to homeowners. I'm asking for the same logic to be applied to Mosaic Street West. Increases in population density over the last 30 years and the evolving building requirements for homes has resulted in more frequent incidents involving this overflow street parking. I recognise that this request is not shared by some other immediate residents of the Mosaic Street cul-de-sac. The obvious place for a car to park is on the northern curbside, and therefore all overflow parking from 6 houses attempts to squeeze between the number 14 and number 16 Mosaic Street West crossovers. That's where the problems start. This is where the lack of visibility and line of sight obstruction presents dangers for me and effectively makes a simple process hazardous. I wonder, could I please have the video, please?
Back out, have a look, and this is what I've got to look at. I've got children my side here, cars behind me, and I still can't see what's coming up the road till I get to there.
Not necessary, thank you. Thank you. I draw your attention to the location of the car in the background specifically, and its greater impact on the line of sight visibility to my crossover than the one in the foreground. This is due to the shape of the curbing and its physical projection onto the carriageway, as you can see from the right, at the entrance to the cul-de-sac. Any vehicle parked at this point therefore presents the greatest visibility risk to drivers approaching from Medillion Avenue in the west than any other point on the cul-de-sac with respect to my driveway. An added complication for an approaching driver is that there is an elevation change in the road nearing the Mosaic Street West cul-de-sac. You can probably see it there in the background, which limits any driver's view of my driveway at the top of the turning circle until adjacent to number 12, house number 12. And that's with no parked vehicles present. Any vehicle parked next to number 14's crossover totally obliterates the driver's view. Council Policy ET 544 states that the primary considerations for safety, and there are many references for sight lines to be adequate. It is therefore crucial that there are no sight line restrictions. In Plan P305-1, the signage on the northern curb is located immediately adjacent to the eastern edge of the driveway at number 14 Mosaic Street West, which would preclude vehicles from being able to park any further into the cul-de-sac itself. That's this way, eastwards. You may ask why this is an issue now. Given the points I've raised above, I have serious concerns in relation to the change in the amended plan P3052 that proposes to extend the no parking signage 18 metres eastwards along the curved perimeter of the northern curbing where you see those vehicles parked. I'm compelled to ask the reasoning behind the decision, which I feel seriously compromises at least two of the four elements of the Council Policy ET 544, and specifically the safety priority given to sightline adequacy referenced under dot point 11 of the city's policy. This proposed change increases the risk scenario exponentially for cars exiting my driveway and creates an uninterrupted obstruction, in my opinion. The no parking signage implemented by the City of Canning in Mosaic Street East in 2017 encloses the entire curbing profile of the cul-de-sac, edge end to end. That is, the signs are located at either end of the cul-de-sac. It's plainly obvious from studying proposed plan P3052 that there is an intention to relocate the western no parking signage of the northern curb of the cul-de-sac well into the 14-metre diameter profile of the turning circle, thus failing to match the enclosing implementation applied by the City of Canning previously in Mosaic Street East in 2017. Doesn't match. I ask, why has this amendment been made? And would make the point that the residents of Mosaic Street West have waited 8 years to be treated equally and fairly by the City of Canning as their Mosaic Street East counterparts. It abrogates the concept of fairness, in my view. The petition signed by the residents of Mosaic Street West agreed that the safety risk posed by parked vehicles in the cul-de-sac outweighed the inconvenience of being able to street park somewhere near the front of their own property. Interestingly, some of the residents from Mosaic Street East, who also signed the petition, concurred due to the previous overflow parking issues experienced before the implementation of no parking signage on their side in 2017. They recognised it. I ask councillors to consider my deputation and the petition when reviewing the advice from the City of Canning to limit these parking restrictions to the immediate confines of the cul-de-sac carriageway terminating Mosaic Street West. With your indulgence, sir, a footnote. The video clip shown tonight was taken from the front passenger seat of my car with the window down and not from my perspective as the driver. It was taken by a petition signatory who was a senior officer serving with the major smash section of the West Australian Police. Being made aware of the potentially dangerous circumstances presented by the changes from Plan P3051 to those proposed in Plan 3052, he said, and I quote, "Brendon, you've been very lucky for a long time, but sooner or later your luck will run out. It's a line of sight situation of considerable risk that needs to be mitigated with appropriate signage and follow-up enforcement by the City of Canning." End quote. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Hewson, for coming along this evening. I very much appreciate it. If you'd like to take your seat, what I'm going to do is actually propose to bring that item forward. It's actually towards the end of the agenda. It'll take us some time to get there. I'm going to propose to bring it forward so the matter can be dealt with while you're here. Please feel free to stay around. I'm sure you will. Councillors will undoubtedly ask questions of the administration about the item, and we'll discuss it. What I can say to you is that regardless of how the vote goes tonight, we're doing our best to reach a compromise that satisfies everyone. You would know that there are others that are just as vehemently opposed to the... So we're trying to play King Solomon here, but
yes.
That being the case, I would assure you that we regularly review the parking restrictions across the city, and because regardless of what the decision is taken by council tonight, a further decision can be taken down the track and the matter reviewed if those issues are not resolved by the changes being proposed tonight. But please have a seat. I thank you very much for coming down, speaking directly to the council and its executive. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
At item 9, councillors' applications for leave of absence. We have received none. Item 10, questions by members of which due notice has been given. None have been received. At item 11, items brought forward for the convenience of those in the public. Governance, just for your information, I will bring forward report IE 022 of 25 regarding proposed parking controls for various locations. That will be the matter that will be brought forward. I'll just come to it. Councillors, the item is on page 120 of tonight's agenda. It's also currently on the screen before you. Can I ask for a mover for that item, please? Deputy Mayor Mark Bain, thank you very much. A seconder? Councillor Hurn, thank you, Councillor Hurn. Councillor Bain.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yes, I support the officer's recommendation, but given the concerns raised by Mr Hewson, I do refer to paragraph 52 of the report. And similarly, as to Mr Hewson, asked why the original proposed no parking area has been changed and seems to be updated from the AB.
Mr Bowe, can I ask for a comment in relation to the Deputy Mayor's question?
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. Certainly, Deputy Mayor, you know, in considering the questions and the further position put forward by the gentleman who asked the questions and raised objections to the original proposal, we had our traffic engineers reconsider the restrictions and thought that a reasonable compromise was to move the restriction, or in fact reduce the restriction outside of number 14 to accommodate, I think it's 2 cars that can park immediately outside number 14 Mosaic Street. You know, it's worth bearing in mind that there is risk in every road environment, and we manage risk considering all factors involved in that. It is worth remembering also that this is a very low speed environment with vehicles travelling, you know, between 20. Not many cars approach a cul-de-sac at a rapid speed, and notwithstanding Mr Hewson's presentation tonight, the location of the crossover at 16 Mosaic Street is felt to be suitably distanced from where the parking controls, or the revised parking controls, are, and we felt that it was a reasonable compromise without impacting, whilst preserving the performance of the cul-de-sac, enabling those turnarounds of those vehicles that we mentioned last week, our rubbish truck and other service vehicles and delivery vehicles that are using that roadway.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor, have you got a follow-up question?
Yes, please, Mr Mayor. So, as Mr Hewson put forward his concerns that there are potentially, and he has experienced sideline issues at that site, does the City concur with those findings?
Mr Bowe.
If you're referencing Mr Hewson's findings as his observations, Deputy Mayor, the work of our traffic engineers would indicate there is suitable sight lines based on the vehicle speeds and the movements in the cul-de-sac.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Anything further?
No, I'll continue if I may, Mr Mayor. So,
thank you.
I do believe that the proposed parking controls will improve safety of both pedestrians and road users. And as Mr Beacroft eloquently pointed out tonight, I'm really pleased to see the changing of the existing parking controls in Civic Gardens, particularly to better manage the parking during events at the Civic Amphitheatre. And thank you to the City for coming out and meeting also with the principal at Santa Clara School as well, to improve the parking situation on Palmerston Street, and also the residents at that live on or near Woodlow Street. That was much appreciated. And I do thank the City for looking at Mr Kunze's concerns and coming to a compromise, and I look forward further to any more debate on the matter. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Hurn.
I'm just going to address Mr Hewson's deputation first. So I think Director Bowe probably addressed my questions. I think I understand what he's saying about the visibility issue coming out of his premises. Arguably, it is a very, you'd expect it to be a very low-speed location, being a cul-de-sac. People are approaching to either turn at the old cul-de-sac or enter driveways there. So I understand the issue, but there is some compromise at some point on the need for street parking and for the cul-de-sac to function. Generally, I would be supportive of no parking in cul-de-sacs to allow for proper function of cul-de-sacs. And the question then remains of how far the prohibition on parking should extend. With respect to Mr. Hewson, I would say that these visibility issues caused by street parking are experienced everywhere and typically with traffic at higher speeds. So I'm probably quite satisfied with the recommendation that the officers have put forward here. On the motion itself, generally I feel a little bit disappointed that we need to put ugly metal posts up around our city to remind people of the law, in particular dangerous road use like parking on street corners and intersections. I'm similarly hesitant about the installation of ugly metal poles to address issues that arise 4 to 5 times a year. I'm personally of the view that each and every time such a dangerous act is observed by our rangers, infringements should be issued. However, amongst these minor issues, I think there are definitely some issues that need to be resolved, and this motion really is quite effective in doing that, and I will be supporting it today.
Thank you, Councillor. Does anyone else wish to speak or ask a question? Yes, Councillor Kunze, thank you.
Through you, Mayor Hall, to Director Bowe. Just following on from the Deputy Mayor's questions, with respect to the road outside 14 Mosaic Street, has 14 Mosaic Street actually requested to be able to park there? Because my understanding was previous opponents lived at 17 and 19, and if so, if it's based on the 17 and 19 comments, are you not then moving their cars in front of 14? Won't that cause a problem for them? Are we going to push other cars in front of someone else's house?
Director Bowe.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I might have to defer to Manager of Engineering Troy Bosic on that one, Councillor Kunze.
Mr. Bosic, are you able to come to the
Yes.
microphone? Oh, you've got one there.
Yep.
You're able to address that? Did you understand the question?
Yes, I did, thank you, through the Mayor. After the discussions we had at AB, where some residents wanted parking on the street, we had a review of it, and if there was an aerial photograph, or you have a look at the parking prohibitions, the neck of the Mosaic Street West roundabout is quite large when you compare it to any normal cul-de-sac that we would build in a street. So by allowing the cars to park there, it's pretty similar to a new cul-de-sac that's built in residential areas, and a vehicle would be able to turn around in that cul-de-sac bulb in one movement with those cars parked there.
Thank you. Councillor Kunze?
Sorry, but is it common practice, generally you'll park your car if you need to park on the street outside your property, is it common practice at cul-de-sacs to then provide capacity for people to park outside someone else's house?
Through the Mayor, in principle, we try and prohibit parking in a cul-de-sac so that a vehicle can turn around in one movement. We note that garbage trucks will have to do a 3-point turn, but in principle, wherever we get a request for no parking in a cul-de-sac, we ensure that a vehicle can turn around in one movement, and the distance that no parking prohibition goes up the neck of the cul-de-sac really depends on the geometry of it.
Thank you. Councillor Kunze?
Yeah, I'll just talk to the matter. Look, I appreciate the changes doesn't suit some of the issues that Mr. Hewson's raising, and also have a bit of trepidation that no matter what you do with parking prohibition, you're relatively pushing an issue somewhere else. Same with speed bumps and so forth. So inevitably someone will have to find somewhere else to park. I just doesn't sit that well with me making that change based on the people across the road to then put the cars potentially in front of 14 Mosaic Street, but there's always potential in the future to make further changes if that causes a problem for them. But yeah, I'll support the officer recommendation, and whilst I recognise that this goes much bigger than Mosaic Street, given the local conversation for and against the proposed changes, I'll just comment that whilst I appreciate the concerns raised by Mr. Coombe, his family, and a few other people on the street. The expert opinion of staff is to install these parking prohibitions for traffic flow and safety concerns, and so I don't think there's any argument that I could be able to make to not agree with the officer recommendation in this case. And whilst there's some people for this and some people against it, and some people are disappointed either way of what we go, you have to accept that the intention is to improve safety, and generally cul-de-sacs are not only dead ends but need to function as with the capacity to turn vehicles around. So if there's parking issues prohibiting that, then the city needs to address it, and that's what staff and council are proposing to do here. So I'll be supporting the officer recommendation.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Kunze. Does anyone wish to speak against the item before I put it to the vote? Councillor Sekhon?
I just wanted to ask a question. So I just wanted to ask the city if they're happy to review and report back to the council on the impacts of the proposed parking controls after implementation. And I'm particularly interested in understanding the impact around our high traffic areas, such as the community and sporting hubs, schools and railway hub. Thank you.
Director Bain.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, definitely, Councillor Sekhon. After we install these parking restrictions, as a matter of course, we do have our teams monitor their effectiveness. We will no doubt receive some feedback from the community after they are installed, but we'd be happy to represent at a strategic issues briefing on some of the specific areas of your concern, and maybe we can take that offline. But happy to report back, because it is important that we monitor the effectiveness of it and the impacts, either intentional or otherwise, that the restrictions have on the community.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Bain. Deputy Mayor, in the absence of any dissent, we may put the item to the vote. Well, we will. Thank you.
Motion IE-02225 has been carried unanimously with all 9 voting in favour.
Thank you, councillors. Mr. Hewson, thanks for coming along this evening. You're free to leave if you'd like. As you heard from Councillor Sekhon, there will be a item coming back to council. Will be appraised of a review of the effectiveness of those changes. So that'll come back to council at some point. But I appreciate you coming along this evening. Thank you. Councillors, thank you. We move on back to the agenda as is, and the next item is reports of committee meetings. 12.1 Audit and Risk Committee from the meeting from the 24th of September 2025. The committee's recommendation is on screen. It also appears on page 6 of tonight's agenda. Can I have a mover, please, for that item? Councillor Sekhon, thank you. A seconder. Councillor Rodriguez, thank you. Councillor Sekhon.
I support the officer's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Rodriguez.
I also support the recommendation.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak against the item or ask a question? Thank you. Let's put the item to the vote.
The recommendations from the Audit and Risk Committee have been carried unanimously with all 9 voting in favour.
Thank you. We shall move on to item 13 reports, the first of which is item 13.1 from the Directorate of Mr Michael Littleton, the Office of the CEO. It's OC 013 of 25, the appointment of elected members to committees and external organisations. Absolute majority will be required for a number of these items. Councillors, the recommendation is on screen and also appears on page 17 of tonight's agenda. Before we start, we have a number of items there, the first of which will be the CEO Performance and Salary Review Committee. Generally speaking, we have myself, the Deputy Mayor, and 2 members. Very happy to entertain a 3rd member, so I don't see any issue with that. I would raise with you, we do have a number of committees that have no nominations yet, and I would really hope that perhaps we could elicit at least a member for one or two of those. One of them is the Local Emergency Management Committee, which is actually a committee shared between the City of South Perth and the City of Canning. We're looking for a delegate and one deputy. Meetings are infrequent. The Canning River Regional Park Community Advisory Committee, we do have a delegate, but we don't have a deputy for that, so we would be looking for a deputy. And the Jandakot Airport Community Aviation Consultation Group, we have no one nominated for that at all, and we need a delegate for that and also a deputy, and I'm hoping we might be able to strong-arm someone out of the chamber tonight to nominate. Do we have anyone willing to nominate or ask a question in relation to any of those committees in which we're seeking delegates? Councillor Kunze, thank you.
Thank you. I'll put myself as the deputy delegate to the Canning River Regional Park Advisory Committee.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Governors, I'll get you to make that notation. Councillor Page, saw your arm up.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I did put in a nomination for the Walga Southeast Metropolitan Zone, but I don't see my name there.
I think at the time we probably already had 4 members for the 4 positions, and that might be the reason why. And you'd also nominated for, I think, at least another position, so you might have, that might be the reason for that. Are you okay with that? Thank you. Councillor Tucek. I think you'd be ideal for the Jandakot Airport Community Aviation Consultation Group. Thank you very much. That would be for the delegate. And we would be looking for a deputy for that group if we have anyone willing to be a deputy. Councillor Rodriguez?
I just have a question, and
Yes,
it's
of
in
course.
relation to how often are the meetings? Do we know any information about where are they located and how often? Only because obviously I have a lot of commitments and I want to make sure that if I put my hand up, I'm going to be able to attend.
Absolutely. Governors, can you just provide that information as soon as you're able to find it? Just give us just a moment to Councillor Rodriguez. Oh, Director Bowe may have an answer. Director Bowe? What time and where? The meeting frequency is quarterly. I think we're just trying to find a little bit more information for you. Councillor Hurn, yes.
I'm happy to be the delegate for the LEMC.
The LEMC? Fabulous. Thank you. So Councillor Hurn will be the delegate for the Local Emergency Management Committee. Thank you, Councillor Hurn. Yeah, we know that. Just where they're held. I imagine. I think it'll be over there at Jandakot at the just across Carroll Avenue over there somewhere, if I had to guess. Councillor Page.
Just to clarify, so LEMC, is that a day meeting or is that in the evening?
Yeah, it's a day meeting. Yeah, it's a day meeting. Yes, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I'm happy to be the deputy delegate for the LEMC.
Thank you. Governance, thank you. I'll just get you to just update the list that we have in front of you, if you don't mind. Yeah, that's all right. I think we'll be fine as we are. Councillor Rodriguez.
Okay, I'm happy to put my hand up for the for the deputy position for the Jandakot Airport Community Aviation Consultation Group.
Thank you, and I'm confident that Councillor Tucek will be there more often than not, so I think you may not even be called upon, but if you are, I'm sure you'll be a fabulous delegate for us. Thank you. So that would be Councillor Rodriguez has put herself down as a deputy delegate to the Jandakot Airport Consultation Group. Councillors, I believe that all positions... Yes, Councillor Kunze. You've got a puzzled look on
May
your
I just
face.
ask a question?
Yes, of course.
With regard to the third one relating to development assessment panels, why do the deputy delegates relate to specific delegates when it might just be whoever's
I'm
available?
not sure why they're linked because it causes all sorts of issues, doesn't it? Do they need to be linked? I think the reason for that would be in the event that the delegate actually resigns, then that deputy delegate would be attached to that appointment. So, for instance, if you resigned, your delegate would take your place. If I resigned, my delegate would take my place. And there has been a change to that too. I think there was a typo there. It's been corrected by governance. I think Councillor Jacobs will be the deputy delegate for yourself, Councillor Kunze, and Councillor Sekhon will be the deputy delegate for myself. I think that change has been made. Is that right?
So just to follow up, there's nothing, I guess, prohibiting if I'm not able to make it, but Councillor Sekhon's unable to make it. Sorry, the other way. Councillor Jacobs unable to make it, that Councillor Sekhon can be the fill-in for me.
I don't think that's the case. No, I don't think it prevents anybody. So, yeah, you're right. It'll be whoever's available, if somebody's available. Thank you. Councillors, to get the item on the table, can I just have a mover, please, for the item? That'll be Councillor Kunze, thank you. And a seconder would be Councillor Sekhon. Thank you. Councillor Kunze, I'm not sure if you need to speak to the item, but if you'd like to.
Just thank you to those that put their hands up.
Thank you. Councillor Sekhon.
Nothing to add, thank you.
Thank you, councillors. The item appears on page 17 of the agenda, is also on screen. I'll put the item to the vote. And I thank you very much for your cooperation tonight to fill those items that were vacant. So I very much appreciate that. Thank you.
Motion OC 013-25 has been carried by absolute majority with all 9 voting in favour.
Thank you. The next item is OC 014 of 25. The title of the report is Lease Renewal, Queen's Park Soccer and Social Club Incorporated. The recommendation is on page 35 of the agenda. It is also on screen. Can I have a mover for the item, please? That would be the Deputy Mayor. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. A seconder for the item. Councillor Hurn, thank you. Oh, and just noting, of course, that Councillor Hurn has declared a impartiality for this item. Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I support the officer's recommendation and the city entering into a 5-year lease with the Queen's Park Soccer Club. That's for the exclusive use of the club room at Coker Park, and it's great to see now the club back on the rise, and I hope the security of tenure will help them on their way to achieving NPL status. Thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you. Councillor Hurn.
My mic was already on, look at that. I'm supporting the renewal of this lease, and I'm really happy to see the club growing strongly, and I hope they continue to do that.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against the item? Thank you. We'll put it to the vote.
Motion OC-014-25 has been carried unanimously with all 9 voting in favour.
Thank you. The next item is OC 015 of 25, the title being Proposed Road Closure, portion of Hamilton Street Road Reserve in Cannington. The officer's recommendation, parts 1 and 2, appear on page 43 of tonight's agenda and are also on screen. Can I have a mover, please, for the item in Cannington? That would be Councillor Page. Thank you, Councillor Page. A seconder. Deputy Mayor, thank you. Councillor Page.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. I support the officer's recommendation.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Hall. Yes, I support the officer's recommendation as well. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll put the item to the vote.
Motion OC-015-25 has been carried unanimously with all 9 in favour.
Thank you. Item 13.2 is the next item on tonight's agenda. It's from the Director of Mr. Nelson Maurizio, the Director of Corporate and Commercial. It's CC 021 of 25. monthly financial report from back in August 2025. The officer's recommendation is on screen. It also appears on page 49 of tonight's agenda. Can I have a mover, please, for the item? I'm happy to move it from the chair then. Thank you. A seconder? Councillor Kunze, thank you. I speak in favour of the officer's recommendation and have nothing further to add. Councillor Kunze?
Likewise, I'm in favour of the officer recommendation.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on the item? Thank you. We'll put it to the vote.
Item CC-02125 has been carried unanimously with all 9 voting in favour.
Thank you. There were no reports from the Director of Planning and Development, Mr. Graham Bride, so we shall move to item 13.4. Mr. Warren Bowe is the Director of Infrastructure and Environment. These following reports are from his directorate, the first of which is IE 019 of 25. Consideration of submission, major land transaction, business plan, for portion of lots 85, 9001, 9002 Bannister Road in Canning Vale. Councillors, an absolute majority is required for the item. The recommendation is on page 89 of the agenda and also on screen. A mover, please, for the item. Councillor Kunze, thank you. A seconder. Deputy Mayor, thank you. Councillor Kunze.
I'm in favour of the officer recommendation. I agree with staff that the submission didn't raise anything materially that would impact the proposal, and I commend staff for their work here. Thanks.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I support the officer's recommendation and echo the sentiments of Councillor Kunze, and thanking and congratulating staff on their efforts to get the lease together. And yes, the new lease is going to see the city and thus also the ratepayers of Canning receive significantly more in rental income from the site and a much improved financial return. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Fabulous. Thanks, Deputy Mayor. Does anyone else wish to ask a question or speak against the item? Thank you. We shall put it to the vote.
Motion IE-019-25 has been carried by absolute majority with all 9 voting in favour.
Thank you. The next item is IE 020 of 25, request for proposal in brackets RFP, close brackets 03/2025, provision of waste management services, RE Group Proprietary Limited and City of Canning. The officer's recommendation is on page 101 of the agenda and also appears on screen. Can I have a mover for the item, please? Deputy Mayor, thank you. Councillor Kunze. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I support the officer's recommendation and the city entering into a contract with Regroup for the processing of the recyclables, and that's going to deliver significant savings for the City of Canning, 57% reduction in the gate fee for the city, and therefore also savings for the ratepayers. And again, well done, and thank you to staff. Thank you.
Good outcome, isn't it, Councillor Kunze?
Exactly what the Deputy Mayor said. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to ask a question or speak against the item? Thank you. We shall put the item to the vote.
Motion IE-020-25 has been carried unanimously with all 9 voting in favour.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is IE 021 of 25, METRONET Victoria Park Canning Level Crossing Removal Project, Public Open Space Licence and Funding Agreements. The recommendation is on screen, also appears on page 107 of tonight's agenda. Can I have a mover, please, for the item? Happy then to move it from the chair. Thank you. A seconder? Councillor Page, thank you. Councillors, I'll speak in favour of the item. I've had some questions along the journey in relation to the licence and funding agreements. I'm satisfied with the efforts of staff that we've reached an outcome that is of enormous benefit to the community for generation to come, but also the biggest kicker for this project was to remove those level crossings, which has been similarly of enormous benefit. Back to the licence and funding agreements, again, I'm comfortable with the position that has been taken, and I look forward to the CEO finalising and executing the agreements. Councillor Page.
Thank you, Mayor Hall. I do support the officer's recommendation, and I thank the staff for following up about those warranties. It's really appreciated. And yeah, it's a really, really great project, and to see this handover come to fruition is really great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions in relation to the item, or anyone wish to speak against it? Thank you. We'll put it to the vote.
Motion IE-021-25 has been carried unanimously with all 9 voting in favour.
Thank you. We've already dealt with IE 022 of 25. That was the item brought forward earlier in the evening. So the next item on the agenda appears on page, stand by, appears on page 131 of the agenda. It's on screen. It's from the Directorate of Mr. Gary Fisher, the Director of Customer and Community. Councillor Kunze has declared an impartiality interest in relation to the item. It's CO 007 of 25, Ferndale Park Sports Lighting Upgrade. The officer's recommendation is on screen. Can I have a mover, please? That would be Councillor Kunze. Thank you. A seconder for the item would be Councillor Page. Thank you, Councillor Page. Councillor Kunze.
Thank you, Mayor Hall. Look, I'm very much in support of this recommendation. I know that those who utilise Ferndale Reserve are very excited by it. I am, and I'm retired. Last week I mentioned in my query about, I was surprised that the Linwood Ferndale Footy Club, and I assume the other clubs weren't really aware of the focus that the city had taken in terms of focusing on Oval 2, but I know that the Linwood Ferndale Footy Club's actually quite excited by it from what they've experienced this year alone in terms of the outages that they had on Oval 1, and then also the significant rainfall and flooding that many ovals had across Perth. When they weren't able to use that oval, they had no other options. So the fact that they will have potentially one new oval and then the old lights on the old oval is really attractive to them, and hopefully at some point in the near future we'll be able to get both ovals done, because Linwood, this oval, the Oval 1 as you describe it, was one of the first done in the city of Canning, and these days it's one of the most prehistoric in terms of what other clubs get, which is why they're so excited. We spoke last week, there's black spots on that oval and what it will mean to this club. And when we first discussed investing in a Ferndale Reserve, Linwood Ferndale Footy Club was struggling. Now it's exponentially growing. Girls, boys, women, men, they need more space. So that's what this will do, and that's why I'm so in support of it, even though I don't play footy anymore. But I do hope, the thing that does concern me is the uncertainty about the night lights program, and heard comments about it, some of these grants being used for commitments that have been made at elections and so forth. I do hope that we have the capacity to have an authentic shot at this, because these clubs need this investment, and I hope that this project goes ahead on schedule to combine with the investment into the facilities, because it will mean a lot for these clubs that are growing in an area that's gentrifying, and an area that deserves the investment. So good luck, and I hope it goes well.
Thank you, Councillor Kunze. Councillor Page.
Thank you, Mayor Hall. I do support the officer's recommendation. I hope we're very successful in that funding application. I know it's part of a staged plan for getting funding from the club night lights if it continues, so fingers crossed. And yes, it's going to be very, very welcome for the increasing capacity there at Ferndale Reserve, and complement the new club rooms and change rooms that will be delivered.
Fabulous. Thank you very much. Anyone else wish to speak on the item before we put it to the vote? Deputy Mayor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I again echo the sentiments of the councillors that spoke before me, Councillor Kunze and Councillor Page as well. Very much have my fingers crossed that the grant application to upgrade the lighting for Oval 2 is going to be successful. And once completed, The Ferndale Reserve redevelopment, which includes the upgrading of the lighting to all ovals, hopefully to be a fantastic, modern, inclusive and highly accessible sporting and community hub that will, it's going to enhance the experience of both the Linwood Ferndale Football Club and the Ferndale Linwood Cricket Club as well, and not just those two fantastic entities, but also the broader community at large. And I'm very much looking forward to works hopefully commencing in the early in the new year. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillors will put the item to the vote. Thank you.
Motion CO-00725 has been carried unanimously with all 9 voting in favour.
Thank you, Ms Cornish. Item 14, motions of which previous notice has been given. There are none. Urgent business at item 15. There is no urgent business this evening. Confidential matters at item 16. There are none. At item 17, there being no further business, I now declare the meeting closed, the time being 7:09 p.m. I'd like to thank everyone for their attendance. Thank you and good night.